Hi everybody, welcome back to another video with ElectraSoul. In this video, we're going to be talking about the basics of zodiacs. So I'm talking about the planets, what the elements mean, a quick description of each zodiac sign, things like that, because I know a lot of people want to be able to read their chart better, and it's really not that hard. You just have to learn and memorize the planets and what they mean, and then figure out what your birth chart says, and there you go. You basically have your whole life figured out. Zodiac signs were actually the first thing that I got into in terms of spirituality back in middle school. So I'm talking about when I was 11 years old. I was already doing my research. I remember asking everybody in my class, I'm like, what's your sign, what's your sign, what's your sign? If I meet you, I promise you the first question I will ask you is, what is your sign, before I ask you what your name is. That's just the way I'm built. But before we get started, let me just say that I do have a spiritual store called ElectraSoul.co, in which I sell spiritual jewelry. As seen here, my 999 angel number hoop earrings. I also sell other angel number hoop earrings. I sell crystals, sages, incenses. I sell angel number purses, clothing, and hair clips. And I also do spiritual coachings and spiritual readings. So if you're looking to enhance your spiritual abilities, send me an email so that we can get started with that. You can follow my Instagram, follow my TikTok, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you end up liking this video and you feel like it could be useful for somebody else, go ahead and share it, because you know what we're trying to do out here, trying to help. Now that we're done with that, let's talk about zodiac signs. There are 12 zodiac signs. The first one starting from Aries. So number 1 Aries, number 2 Taurus, number 3 Gemini. Then we got Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and then Pisces. So there are 4 elements when it comes to zodiac signs. The first one are the fire signs, and those consist of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. The next one are the earth signs, which are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The third one are the air signs, which are Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And then the fourth one are the water signs, which is Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. So honestly, right off the bat, you can tell a little bit about each sign because of their element. Like, you can tell that fire signs are more passionate and they're more outgoing. They're more of the extroverted kind of signs. Then we got the earth signs, which you can already feel very mellow, very calm, grounded, things like that. Because honestly, I'm a Capricorn and that is how we are. We don't really like to go out that much. Then we got the air signs. So these are the opposites of the fire signs. So this means that they're nothing like them, but exactly like them at the same time. Air signs are known for being intellectuals, deep thinkers. They're also very outgoing, just like fire signs are. The next one being the water signs. These are the emotional ones, period. I mean water, duh. But they're very emotional. They feel everything. They're pretty sensitive. Though they do have a barrier of pride, they do feel things very heavily, and they're very empathetic. They're intuitive, mysterious. There's just so many things about each element that honestly makes the zodiac sign so freaking cool. Now we got another pair of 3 that can help categorize each zodiac sign. So we got cardinal, mutable, and fixed signs. Basically, cardinal signs are the visionaries. These people love to have solid foundations, they like to take action, and they are always goal orientated. And so they always have something on their mind that they want to do with their lives. You know, they're never just sitting around doing nothing. They always have some sort of plan. The next one being the mutable signs signify sociable, new ideas, and adaptability within each sign. So every sign that is inside of this element circle, they all work in a way in which they are always grabbing new ideas to help adjust and bring new things to life. They can adapt very easily, so they're not really afraid of change. In fact, they encourage change. The last one being the fixed signs. These are the hard workers. These are the ones who are focused. They're builders, perfectionists, organized. You can already tell Virgos in here because they have got their shit together. They're always looking to do something more. The projects that they do start need to be perfect. They're completely organized with their planning. If they have a goal, they're going to reach that goal. They do not care about what it takes. It's really cool to see, because now I'm noticing that all 3 are kind of very similar, because they're all very goal orientated. You know, they have a lot of things that they want to do with their lives. There's just a few things about each one that's a little bit different. You know, like one is able to adapt to change more easily than another one might be able to. But regardless, it's a pretty cool thing. Now we're gonna get into the birth chart part of the zodiacs, because this is where all the tea is at. So your sun sign is literally this much of your entire personality. If you think that you being a Libra is who you are, you're completely mistaken, because baby, there is a whole other chart telling you about who you actually are. The Libra is literally just the little barrier on top. Everything else is the glacier that's underwater. So starting with the sun, this is the ego. The sun sign rules Leo, of course, because of all the pride, all the ego. This is where the image is at, your consciousness. So this does not signify how you deal with emotions, nothing like that. This is really just about how you present yourself, how you see yourself, you know, the egotistical part of you. I would see myself as a Capricorn because I'm a Capricorn, but I have a whole other chart to analyze, so I can't just rely on the fact that I'm a Capricorn. So the part that you can start to rely a little bit more on is the moon sign. So this is the second sign ruling from your zodiac signs. It starts from sun and then moon. Your moon sign is how the heart works. This is ruled by Cancer, of course, because this is where all the deep emotions are. Now with the moon sign, this is where all of the emotions are. This is basically where you deal with your emotions. This is how you figure out how to get around life with the things that you think about. Now somebody who's a Sagittarius sun and a Cancer moon, they might be a little bit more sensitive than a regular Sagittarius would be because their heart works like a Cancer. And as we all know, Cancers are very sensitive, very unlike a Sagittarius. So that will definitely impact you just a bit because it will help embrace a different part of you that you don't really recognize unless you look into your birth chart. The next one is Mercury. So Mercury rules communication. This is how you talk to other people. This is where all your ideas are, how your train of thought works, where your intelligence lies, and of course, it's ruled by Gemini and Virgo, the two most outspoken signs. Tell me right now that there's not a Gemini in your life that would snap on a bitch if they had to. A Virgo too. Though Virgos are earth signs and they come off as the stereotypical quiet, they don't really talk much, trust me when I say a Virgo will snap on you if they have to. They do not care. I've seen the amount of petty that Virgos have, and honestly, it's very inspiring. But basically, if you do want to see how your mind works and how you would talk to other people, you should definitely check your Mercury. If you have a Leo Mercury, you're most likely to be pretty blunt. Like, you're going to be hurting feelings on accident, and you probably won't even feel that bad. Unless, of course, your moon sign is something more empathetic, like a Pisces or so. I like to use Mercury to see how relationships would go with others. I'm not talking about romantic, I'm talking about friendships here. Because the way that you talk to people really determines everything for that friendship, for that relationship. So if you want to see if you and another person would vibe well, you should definitely check both of y'all's Mercury and see if they're compatible with one another. The next sign is Venus. Yes, Miss Venus. This is where all the attraction, the love, the romance, how you are in relationships, how you treat your significant other, how you deal with the emotions in a relationship. Of course, ruled by Taurus and Libra, the two most romantic signs of the entire zodiac chart. These two signs love. Nobody can tell me different. They are extremely loyal. If they really love you, you are going to know. They love to be catered to, they love luxury, they love to be spoiled. And that's exactly why within your Venus, you're going to figure out how you will be in a relationship. Your Venus will deadass tell you how you and your partner are going to work out. So go ahead and pull up you and your partner's birth chart to figure it out. If one is a Capricorn Venus and the other one's a Scorpio Venus, best believe that is going to be one hot couple. Because the next one is Mars. This one is very interesting because this is how you deal with your anger. This is where all the sexual tension is. This is where the desire, the passion, everything. It's honestly so crazy to me how each planet determines everything for you, because it really does. If you check your Mars and you figure out which zodiac sign is in that planet, you're going to see how you deal with anger, how you are in bed, how you deal with your desires, with your passion, everything. There's just so much tea behind this. You know, if you're going to be snapping on somebody, if you're somebody who gets emotional when you're angry, if you're somebody who's able to snap back when you have to, it all depends on your Mars. And this, of course, is ruled by Aries. Aries are so fucking outspoken. They will tell a bitch whatever it is that they need to hear. They do not care. I promise you, they do not care. Aries will do anything to get their point across. Now the next one is Jupiter. This is where your luck, your opportunities, your future lies. So this is where your luck comes in. How lucky are you in life? You feel me? This is ruled by Sagittarius, of course, because they're very free, very out there. I've always seen that Sagittariuses are very lucky somehow. They always get whatever they want just because of their mindset. They're very optimistic, and this can easily attract great things into their lives. And so with that being said, whatever whatever is in your Jupiter will determine your luck. Don't feel like having a specific sign is going to make you less lucky, because it won't. It all equals luck, but you just need to figure out how that luck goes into your zodiac sign. Obviously, an Aquarius would have different luck from a Capricorn, or a Libra to a Virgo. It's completely different, but needless to say, it's still luck. Use it to your advantage. Figure out how you can use your good humor, your open mind, your creativity to create luck in your life. The next planet is Saturn, ruled by Capricorn. Saturns are all about structure, responsibility, career, bank. We like to make money. That's just the way it is. Very ambitious. If you're trying to figure out how you would work at a job, or how lucky you are in your careers, also how to see how well your sign deals with money, definitely look at your Saturn. This is going to tell you what kind of mind you have when it comes to careers. Obviously, other signs would have more of a creative outlook. Others are more structural. It really depends on your sign, but regardless, your Saturn is going to tell you all the tea on your career choices. The next one is Uranus. Uranus is responsible for rebellion, change, technology, innovation, and of course they're ruled by Aquarius, because y'all know how Aquariuses are. They always have their mind on 100. They're always thinking, they always have creative ideas, they're always looking for ways to innovate things, you know, create new realities for themselves and others. This is where your groundbreaking ideas come into play. So this is really how you think about how you're going to create a change in the world or around you, how you're going to create change in your life, in the lives of others. This planet helps people think of things from a different perspective. Now the next sign is Neptune, which is responsible for imagination, dreams, intuition, and of course, ruled by Pisces, the dreamiest sign of the zodiac signs. This planet helps you figure out how far you are willing to go inside of your mind to create the life of your dreams. I feel like this really goes with superstition and things like that, because I know that there are some people who have, say for example, a Capricorn in Neptune, and they're less likely to believe in superstitions and things like that. But for someone who, for example, might have a Pisces in their Neptune, they're more willing to believe all kinds of things because their mind is just open like that. They're willing to understand intuitive things, imaginative things, things that seem to be too big to create into a reality. If you want to see if you're somebody who has a more open mind or a closed mind, regardless, this is going to tell you where your imagination lies. Now the next planet is Pluto. This is responsible for transformation, power, death, rebirth, and ruled by Scorpio, which is clearly one of the most mysterious signs of the zodiac signs. This planet is going to tell you how you deal with change, how you deal with transformations, how powerful you feel, your emotional death and rebirth when you grow into a new person. This is going to give you all the dark tea basically on who you are, what you went through. This is really connected to childhood traumas and things like that, and also other things that have happened in your life that have affected you greatly. Definitely check your Pluto to see how you deal with these emotions. Alright y'all, the last one that I'm going to talk about here is going to be the rising and ascendant. The rising or ascendant is basically how you socially present yourself to others. So this is how the world sees you as. Something that's very crazy is that I have a lot of Capricorn in my chart. Capricorn and Aquarius are two of the signs that are the most ruling in my chart, equally too, so 5 and 5. My rising is Aquarius, and it's so crazy that every single time I meet somebody new and then I tell them I'm a Capricorn sun, I'm a Capricorn moon, and I'm an Aquarius rising, and they always say, oh okay, I can see the Aquarius in you. And I'm always like, really? Like, that's so weird to me because I feel like I'm such a Capricorn. But you see, that's literally how I socially present myself to people. I come off as an Aquarius because of the way that I act when I meet new people, and it's not intentional. You know, don't ever feel like you're being fake because you act like your rising sign. That's not your sun sign. You know, it doesn't matter. But the point is, that's how the world sees you. This is basically the face that you put on for those that you're meeting. To figure out your rising sign, you actually need to have a very accurate birth time to put into your birth chart calculator, because if you put in the wrong time, even by 1 minute, you can literally come out with a completely different rising. So definitely, if you're going to try to figure out what your birth chart is with your rising, I really recommend that you try to figure out the closest that you possibly can to your actual birth time so that you can figure out what your actual rising is. Now I'm going to be covering 2 more things on zodiac signs. I'm just going to be giving a quick description of each zodiac sign, and the last thing I'm going to be talking about is compatibility. So we're going to be talking about all the tea behind compatibility with each sign. So the first one, like I said before, is Aries. Aries are known to be energetic, courageous, innovative, impatient, and they can be naive. They're very sweet sign, but do not screw them over, because I'm telling you right now, they will call you the fuck out and they will not care about how you feel about it. Number 2 is Taurus. Tauruses are patient, reliable, secure, stubborn, determined, and very friendly. They're actually known to be the most universally liked sign because of their kindness. For some reason, everybody and their mama gets along with Taurus no matter what sign they are. The next one is Gemini, number 3. Geminis are versatile, intellectuals, youthful. They're basically a wild child. And they're inconsistent. So they're very sweet, they're very nice, but I'm telling you right now, you might get one part of them one day and then another part the next day. They don't do it on purpose. They don't do it to be two-faced. It's literally just because they can't process emotions the way that other signs can. They're actually one of the least empathetic signs of the whole zodiac chart. Number 4 is Cancer. Cancers are sensitive, emotional, intuitive, moody, and clingy when they really like you, or if they're in a relationship with you and they just can't get enough of you. They'll be pretty clingy, but it all comes out of good heart. They really do care about a lot of people. They can be pretty mean. I'm not even gonna sit here and say that they're super sweet because, you know, but they do have a very big heart and they want to take care of people to the best of their ability. Number 5 is Leo. Leos are loyal, very out there, leaders, creatives, and they're pretty dramatic. So if you ever meet a Leo, trust that they're going to be a little bit more out there than other people are, because they really love to socialize. They love to mix with people. They love all the energy that they get from it. It's almost like a high for them. Number 6 is Virgo. Virgos are very organized. They're analytical, they're warriors, they're practical, and they are perfectionists. I'm sure that y'all have heard about this 100 times, but yes, it's true. Virgos are very big perfectionists. They love when things are in order. Every single Virgo that I know are very specific about certain things. You know, they do love to live life and do crazy things too, but everything that they do needs to have some sort of reason behind it. They need to figure out the reason why, figure out how, when, where, and they do overthink a lot, but they're very good people and they're very nice friends. Number 7 is Libra. Libras are peaceful, flirty, indecisive, charming, and super social. Every single Libra I know is extremely social. They have like 20,000 friends and they're close to all of them. I don't know how they do it, but they're very flirty. They love love. They love leading people on. Not to call y'all out, but it's definitely true. They love to be out there in the dating field, the friendship field, every single field they want to be on. Number 8 is Scorpio. Scorpios are mysterious, they're intense, vengeful, powerful, and forceful. So yes, I'm sure you've met a Scorpio in your life that just gives a very heavy and deep energy. It's because they're always thinking. They always have emotions going through them. They're not willing to open up. So honestly, if a Scorpio trusts in you and they tell you how they're feeling, feel lucky, because they're not going to open up for nobody. Number 9 is Sagittarius. Sagittariuses are known to be adventurous, optimistic, blunt, careless, and philosophical. Sagittariuses are all about the adventure. Name one Sagittarius in your life that does not want to travel the world. I bet you can't, because they all do. They all want to travel the freaking world. They love to be out there. They do like making friends as well. They're very outgoing, but their main intention is to literally be free. That's all that they want, to do whatever the fuck they want without anybody telling them that they can't. Number 10 is Capricorn. Capricorns are ambitious, dependable, bosses, reserved, and pessimistic. Yeah, we're the most depressed sign. We're known for being very bossy, which I can honestly say that I do have that about me. I try not to be, but I definitely can be when it comes to things that I really care about. We can never just sit still and go to sleep. If we have a day off, we're going to find something to do that is productive on that day off, and then we'll call that a day off. 11 is Aquarius. Aquariuses are humanitarians. They're independent, original, unemotional, and intellectuals. Yes, Aquariuses are such creatives. I love Aquariuses for that reason. They're always coming up with some crazy new shit. They always got something planned out. They always got something going for them. It's ridiculous, but it's honestly a blessing, because I'm telling y'all right now, an Aquarius can make a shirt out of this. That's how cool they are. 12 is Pisces. Pisces are imaginative, intuitive, gullible, empathetic, and codependent. I can't even lie to you. Pisces are extremely sweet. They love to connect with people too. I feel like Pisces are a little bit more interested in love than friendships. They're extremely intuitive, so they feel a lot of things, and they could tell you right off the bat if somebody's good for you or not. They know how to read the room really well. Those are the 12 beautiful zodiac signs. They all got their positives, they all got their weaknesses, but regardless, they're all amazing, and it's very cool to see how they all connect everybody around the world together. Which leads me into my next point, compatibility. So basically, there are a lot of signs that get along better with other signs than other signs would. So for example, the first one we're going to talk about is air. So the air signs are compatible with other air signs. So the air signs are Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, and they are compatible with themselves. And their opposites, the fire signs. They are compatible with Sagittariuses, Leos, Aries. Although they're opposites, they do get along very well. It goes the same way for fire signs to air signs. So if you're a fire sign, your direct opposite and whatever else is in that group is going to be compatible with you, just like other fire signs would be. Same thing goes for earth. Earth goes with earth and water, and then water goes with water and earth. I'm not saying that you can only date from your specific compatible group, not at all. I'm not saying that you can only make friendships from this specific compatible group. All I'm saying is that you're more likely to get along better with a sign that is compatible to you than a sign that is not. Of course, keep in mind though, you have a whole chart to figure out. There are a lot of signs that are compatible with you within a chart. So if your sun sign is Sagittarius and you're dating a Taurus, you might not be compatible on the surface, but look deep down inside. Maybe both of your moons are in Libra. There you go, there's a connection. Maybe one moon is in Libra and the other one's in Gemini. There you go, a connection. You gotta figure it all out. Alright y'all, that's basically it for my video. Thank you so much for watching. I intend that this video helped you to the best of its ability. Astrology has always been a very big thing in my life, and I love learning more about it, and I love teaching people about it because it is extremely interesting and it actually changes lives everywhere. Believe me when I say that. Thank y'all again so much. If y'all have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I love y'all so much. God bless and take care. Bye.